Hello, and welcome to this video on the Level 1 Functional Skills Maths mock paper. In the exam, you'll have 25 minutes, providing you don't have exam arrangements, in which case you'll get slightly more time, and there are a total of 15 marks available. Okay, let's start with section 1 and question 1. Write the number 204319 in words. So those of you who know me will know my writing's pretty poor, so I'll type it out for you. It's 204,319. Question 2 is calculate the range of the following sets of numbers. So the range is the highest, take away the lowest. So we're looking for the biggest number, which is 9.3, and the lowest number, which is 1.6, and we need to take them away. So we get 7.7 on the answer line, and that's worth 1 mark. Question 3. What is 3/5 as a decimal? Well, I tried to tell you in the class that one to remember is 1/5 is 0.2, so 3 lots of 0.2 is 0.6 for 1 mark. If you can't remember that 1/5 is 0.2, then you need to remember that 3/5 in mathematics means 3 divided by 5. 5 doesn't divide into 3, so we've come to the end of the bus stop and we carry the 3. Don't forget to put your decimal points in top and bottom. Use one of your invisible zeros, and 5 goes into 30 6 times. So there are 2 ways to do this. One way, if you remember 1/5 is 0.2. The other way is the mathematical way, where you actually divide the 3 by the 5. So 0.6 on your answer line is worth 1 mark. Question 4 is about big maths and understanding the order of operation. So if you write down big maths, there are no brackets in our problem and there are no indices. So you do division and multiplication first. So we've got a multiplication, so it becomes 12 minus 8. Now we're just left with addition and subtraction. So 12 minus 8 is 4. So on your answer line, put the number 4. Question 5 is testing whether you remember how to multiply with negative numbers. And we said in the classroom when you get minus 3 times 7, so you've got one negative, your answer is negative, and 3 times 7 is 21. So minus 21 on your answer line for 1 mark. Question 6. What is 17 squared? And you need to know what it means in mathematics, which is 17 times 17. Now, it's not in our times tables, so it's really asking us to do a multiplication of a 2-digit number by a 2-digit number. So we use our box method. So 10 tens are 100, and 10 times 7 is 70. 10 times 7 is 70, and 7 sevens are 49. Add up each of the columns, so we have 170 there, and 119. So 170 plus 119 is 289 on the answer line for 1 mark. Question 7. There are 5 red and 10 yellow counters. So 5 red and 10 yellow counters in a bag. What's the probability of picking a red? So probability is, what are we interested in? We're interested in the red, so that's 5 as the numerator. And then the denominator is the total of the things we're looking at. So we've got 5 red and 10 yellow, which is 15. So it's 5 over 15. Now, to get the answer, or the mark for the answer, you really need to simplify. And we can divide both the top and the bottom by 5 to give us 1/3. So really, the answer they're looking for is 1/3 for 1 mark. Question 8. Show your answer to question 7 on the probability scale. So when you look at the probability scale, you're looking to divide the scale into 3 equal parts. So roughly, it would be in 3 equal parts like that. So this is part 1, this would be part 2, and this would be part 3, very roughly. So all you need to do for your 1/3 is put your arrow roughly around here. And that's worth 1 mark. Question 9. Calculate the volume of this cuboid. So to calculate the volume of an object, we said in class, work out the area of the 2-dimensional shape facing you first. So 3 times 2 is 6 with 2 zeros. So that's 600 centimeters squared as the area for the rectangle that's facing us. And then for volume, we just multiply it by the 3rd dimension. So 600 times 5, nice and straightforward. 6 times 5 is 30, and the 2 zeros that we ignored. So our answer on the answer line is 3,000, and don't forget the centimeters, cubed, because we're talking about volume. And that's again worth 1 mark. Question 10 is asking us to divide 14.2 by 10. So the easy way to divide by 10 is to move the decimal point 1 place to the left. So we end up with 1.42 on the answer line. Question 11. Fred had 8,385 tickets available for a performance. He sold 4,792. How many does he have left? So this is testing you on subtraction of big numbers. So we've got 8,385, and we're going to subtract 4,792. So 2 from 5 is 3, 9 from 8 doesn't go, so we borrow 1. 9 from 18 is 9, 7 from 2 doesn't go, we borrow 1, 7 from 12 is 5, and 4 from 7 is 3. So 3, 5, 9, 3 on the answer line for 1 mark. Question 12. Here are the scores of some students received in a recent test. Group the test scores and complete the frequency table below. So we've got a grouped frequency table. So we've got 1 to 10. So we can have 11 to 20 and 21 to 30 as our scores. Now, the tally. So between 1 and 10 marks, we've got 1, 2, 3. So we have a frequency of 3. For 11 to 20, we've got 1, 2, 3, again. So for our group 21 to 30, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 remaining. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5-bar gate, and then the 6th one there. So for 1 mark, our frequency is 3, 3, and 6. Question 13, write the fraction 17 over 4 as a mixed number. So to do this, we quite literally divide 17 by 4 and use our remainder method. So 4 goes into 17 4 times, because 4 fours are 16, with a remainder of 1. So 4 is the whole number, the remainder is the numerator, and the denominator remains as 4. So 4 and 1/4 for 1 mark. Question 14. Sarah has £65. She wants to buy some shoes which are £80. There is a 15% off sale in the shoe shop. Can she afford the shoes, and show your working out? So what we want to do is we want to take off the 15% from the £80. So we use our 10% rule, which says that's £8. Therefore, 5% is another £4. Our 15% that we can take off is going to be £12. So we've got £80, going to take off £12. So the shoes will cost £68 in the sale. So can she afford the shoes? No, she can't afford them. And then the reason is they will cost £68. And that's worth 1 mark. Question 15. Kath and Ricky earn £75 washing cars. They decide to share the money in the ratio of 2 to 3. So we've got Kath and Ricky sharing it in the ratio of 2 to 3. And they've earned £75, which is a totals ratio. So we've got 5 parts we need to share the money with. So 75 divided by 5 goes in once, remainder 2, 5 goes into 25 5 times. So our scale to go back to our ratio is 15. So 2 times 15 is 30 for Kath, and 3 times 15 is £45 for Rick. So the question's asking, how much money will Ricky get? Ricky gets £45, and that's worth 1 mark. And that's the end of section A for the mock exam, level 1, paper 1, section A.
Now let's take a look at section 2. In section 2, we're allowed to use our calculators. We have 45 minutes to complete this section, and we're going to show our working out as we go along. Let's start with question 1. Write the number 302,673 in figures. So we have 302,673. So on the answer line, 302,673. And that's worth 1 mark. Question 2. Write the following number in ascending order. So ascending order means from the lowest number to the highest. So our lowest number is 372. The next number is 3072. Then we've got 3702. And then finally 6300. So in the correct order, they will be worth 1 mark. Question 3. Calculate the mean temperature from the temperatures listed below. So all we need to do is to put these in our calculator to calculate the sum. So we get a total of 9 from these numbers. There are 7 numbers, so divide 9 by 7 and we get 9 over 7, which when we press the SD button gives us 1.285714, and it's recurring between the two. So on the answer line, 1.285714 with a recurring between the 2 and the 4. And that's worth 1 mark. Don't forget the units of degrees C. Question 4. Round the number 52.62798 to 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places mean we're going to cut it off here. We're interested in the 2 and what follows it. After the 2 is a 7, so we're going to round that number up. So we end up with 52.63. Question 5. The diagram represents a solid made from 5 identical cubes. On the grid, draw the view of the solid from direction A. So we're looking at it from this direction, so we can see these 3 across the bottom, and then on the left hand side this one up here. So drawing it on our grid, we've got 3 across the bottom, and on the left hand side the one above. And that's worth 1 mark. Question 6. The diagram shows nets and some solid shapes. An arrow has been drawn from one net to its solid shape. Draw an arrow from each of the other nets to its solid shape. So the second one down on the left has got two circles in a rectangle, which when we fold it together gives us our cylinder. The third one down is a classic cube shape, so a cube net, so that goes to our cube. Here we've got a square base pyramid, and at the bottom that must be our triangular prism. And that's worth 2 marks. Question 7. The diagram shows 3 small rectangles inside a large rectangle. The large rectangle is 10 centimeters by 8 centimeters, and each of the small rectangles are 4 centimeters by 2 centimeters. Work out the area of the shaded region on the diagram. First of all, we work out the large area, which is 10 centimeters by 8 centimeters, gives us 80 centimeters squared. Each of the small rectangles is 4 by 2, which is 8 centimeters squared, and there are 3 of them. So 24 centimeters squared for the area for those. So now all we need to do is subtract the 24 centimeters squared from the 80 centimeters squared, and that gives us 56 centimeters squared. On the answer line, 56 centimeters, and don't forget the units are squared for area. And that's worth 3 marks. Question 8. George puts £400 into a savings account that pays 5% simple interest per annum. How much interest will he have gained after 2 years? So we just need to work out 5% of 400. We could do this on our calculator. So 5, don't forget the percentage, multiplied by the 400. Quite literally 5% of 400 tells us it's 20. So it's £20 per year. So after 2 years, multiply it by 2, we end up with £40 interest. On the answer line, £40, and that's worth 2 marks. Question 9. Draw a sketch of a cube. So start off by drawing your square. Then run the lines back the same length at an angle, and then join up the corners to create your cube. For 9b, calculate the volume of a cube if it has a side of length 3.4 centimeters. So we know we have to multiply the 3 dimensions, so 3.4 times 3.4 times 3.4. Don't take any chances, put it in your calculator, and then we get 39.304. Don't forget the units are centimeters, and because it's volume, it's cubed. And that's worth 1 mark. Question 10. The land a supermarket owns is in the shape of a regular hexagon. So this has got 6 sides, so okay, and the length of the sides are 50 meters. Before closing up, the security guard must walk the perimeter of the land. How far does he walk? So 6 times 50 gives us 300, and the distance is in meters. So on the answer line, 300 meters, and it's worth 3 marks. Question 11. Here are the prices for tickets at the local cinema. Tony buys 2 senior tickets and 1 child ticket. He pays with a £20 note. How much change should he receive? So we're on our calculators, we're not going to take any chances. So we've got 2 senior tickets at £5.85. So that's £11.70. And then the 1 child ticket at £4.90. I'm going to add these together. and that gives us £16.60 as the cost for the tickets. So now we pay with a £20 note, we take away our £16.60 and we get £3.40 as our change. So on the answer line, £3.40, and this question is worth 2 marks. Part B. Gemma buys some adult tickets and the cost is £60.55. How many tickets does she buy? So we've got £60.55 and we just need to divide it by the amount of an adult ticket, which is £8.65. Put this in our calculator. So Gemma buys 7 tickets. So on the answer line, 7 tickets, and this question is worth 2 marks. Question 12. The diagram shows the position of a lighthouse L and a harbour H. The scale of the diagram is 1 centimetre represents 5 kilometres. So our strap line, centimetres to kilometres, 1 centimetre is 5 kilometres. Work out the real distance between L and H. So, using the mock paper that I've been given, that distance is approximately 6 centimetres. Yours may be different. Put the 6 under the side for the map, so we've multiplied by 6 to get our scale. Do the same on the other side, and 30 kilometres goes on the answer line for 2 marks. Now for part B, we need to measure the bearing of H from L. So it's this angle here that we're needing to measure. So using our crosshairs at the centre of our reference at point L, we line up the 0 line with north and we measure around the outside scale around to where the bearing is. And we've got 110 going down to H. So our bearing on the answer line, 110 degrees, and that's worth 2 marks. Question 13. Seb is painting this symbol on a wall. Each tin of paint will cover 20 metres squared. How many tins of paint will he need? So let's start by working out the large area of the whole thing, which would be 14 by 12. Which is 168 metres squared. Now all we need to do is take away the smaller area, like the shape of a door, which is 9 by 6. And that gives us 54 metres squared. So to work out the area he needs to paint, 168 subtract 54 gives us 114 metres squared. So, to work out how many tins of paint he needs, we take 114, divide it by the 20 that one tin covers, and we get 5.7 tins. Now, we can't buy 5.7 tins from B&Q, so we need to round it sensibly, so we go up to 6 tins. So 6 tins on the answer line, and this question is worth 4 marks. Question 14. 2 shops stock the same pair of trainers. Their normal price is £40. Today, both shops have a sale. Jenny wants to pay the least possible. Which shop should she buy them from? Well, the shoe shop has only pay 4/5 of the price of the trainers. So it's 4/5 of the £40. So that means the trainers at the shoe shop are £32. Now let's look at the sports shop. It's got 15% off all trainers, so we have to do 15% of 40. And we can do this on our calculator as well. 15, don't forget the percentage sign, of 40. And that tells us there's a discount of £6. So we had the original price of 40, take off the 15% value, which is £6, and that leaves us with 34 left to pay. So if she wants to pay the least possible, which shop? Then she should buy the shoes from the shoe shop. As they cost £32, which is £2 cheaper than the sports shop. And that's all worth 4 marks. Question 15. The table shows some information about the birds Paula saw in her garden one day. Complete the accurate pie chart. So the pie chart's already been partially drawn for us, and we can see that there's the magpie there. What we need to do is work out the total number of birds going into the pie chart, i.e. 360. So let's work out the sum, which is the total of our frequency. So there are 72 birds that need to go into our pie chart. In other words, 360 needs to be divided by 72 to tell us what one bird is worth. So each bird is worth 5 degrees. So if we go down our list and multiply everything by 5, it tells us the number of degrees to plot. So 15 times 5 is 75 degrees. 10 times 5 is 50 degrees. For the thrush, the starling is 20 times 5, which is 100 degrees. And then finally the sparrow, 27 times 5. Gives us 135 degrees. So what we need to do now is plot the other birds, as the magpie is already down and is 75 degrees. Don't forget to put a title, so we'll call this Garden Birds as our title, and we'll now start plotting the other birds. Using a protractor, place the crosshairs at the center of the circle. Move the 0 reference in line with the last line that was drawn for the magpie. So move the protractor round so that the 0 line on the protractor lines up with the last line drawn for the magpie. So now we're going to plot the thrush, which is 50 degrees. So on the outside scale, go around to 50 and place a little marker. Move the protractor out the way and draw a straight line from the center of the circle through that line to the edge of the circle. So from the center of the circle, draw a line through that marker. Now don't forget to label it. So it's 50 degrees is the angle that we drew, and the bird that goes in here is the thrush. Now let's plot the next bird. So the crosshairs go in the center of the circle, and we need to move the 0 line around to the last line we drew for the thrush. There. Now plot the angle, which is 100 degrees, so on the outer scale, go around to 100, make a little mark, move the protractor and draw a straight line from the center of the circle through the marker that you've made. Don't forget to label this section that you've just drawn. So it was 100 degrees and the bird type was the starling. Finally, the last section you don't have to plot because it's the only angle that's left, which is 135 degrees. So draw in the angle, 135 degrees, and label it for the sparrow. And that's your pie chart complete. And this is worth 5 marks. Question 16. Steph has 3 dogs. They each have 2 bowls of dog food a day. To fill each bowl, she used 75 grams. The pet food shop sells dog food at 2 kilogram bags. How many bags of dog food does she need to feed her dogs for a week? So she has 3 dogs and they each have 2 bowls of food each. So that's 6 bowls a day. So the 6 bowls have 75 grams in each. So 6 75s gives us 450 grams per day for the 3 dogs. We need to work this out for the week, so 450 grams times 7 gives us 3,150 grams per week. So the food comes in 2 kilogram bags. So let's convert our 3,150 grams into kilograms by dividing by 1,000. So it's 3.15 kilograms divided by 2 will tell us how many bags we need. So that's 1.575 bags, which we can't buy from the shop, so we need to do some sensible rounding. So she needs 2 bags a week for the dogs. And that's worth 3 marks. Question 17. A window cleaner uses the following function machine to calculate how much to charge his customers. So the number of windows times 40 minus 25 gives us the cost in pence. Part A. Richards has a house with 9 windows. How much would the window cleaner charge to clean them? So we're going to put 9 into our function machine on the left hand side. We're going to go along and we're going to multiply it by 40. With 9 fours are 36 with a 0. So that's 360 pence. And we're going to take off 25 pence. And that gives us £3.35 or 335 pence for the cost of the 9 windows to be cleaned. So on the answer line, under part A, £3.35, and that's worth 2 marks. For part B, if the cost of cleaning the windows is £5.35, how many windows does her house have? So what this is asking us to do is go the other way round. So we need to put £5.35 as pence in at the right hand end and go from right to left. So instead of subtracting 25, we add 25. So we end up with 560 pence after the first function. Then 560 needs to be divided by 40. Don't take any chances, we can do this on our calculator. $14. So it gives us 14 after the division. So Sally has 14 windows. So 14 windows on the answer line, and this is worth 2 marks. That is the end of the level 1 mock section B and the end of the mock paper in total. I hope this video has been of some use for you. Thank you for watching.